Day 10 of the video journal meme. Yes, I'm just doing these all in a row because I need to catch up. My views on love and relationships. This is a sticky subject because most of my relationships end really badly, and usually it's my fault. So clearly my views on love and relationships should not be taken as advice in any way, shape, or form, because I have yet to not fuck it up. So don't listen to me, please. I mean, pay attention to what I'm saying if you're interested in my stories, but do not take any of this as advice or as a good way to handle yourself, or take it as a cautionary tale, won't you? So my view on love and relationships. I like to say that I like romance, and I do like romance, generally speaking. I like it in a fictional sense, much more than I like it in a practical sense, because, I'm not good at accepting nice things that people do for me, which is a pretty big part of romance, as people tend to carry it out. So, it's hard to allow people to be nice to me if I don't think I've earned being nice. So generally I go out of my way to do nice things first, so I feel like I've earned people's respect and their admiration and their liking me. So I don't really understand it when people say they like me, despite the fact that I know I'm a pretty likable person because I go out of my way to make myself likable. So I just get very confused when people like me. And most of the time, when people like me, they're not the people I like. And a lot of times, people who feel affection for me end up getting shut down because they're not the people I want. And the people I do want end up shutting me down because I'm not the person they want. So it's just a terrible, vicious cycle of nobody getting what they want, or who they want, rather. And on the rare occasion that I have been with somebody that I honestly liked and they honestly liked me back, I inevitably ended up fucking it up somehow. Usually by the relationship going long distance, because I really don't cope well with long distances, and conducting relationships entirely over the phone and the internet. And by the phone and the internet, I mean the internet, because I don't talk to people on the phone, really. So that's why the first good relationship I had went to hell, because I broke up with him because I couldn't bear the distance. And that's why my third decent relationship went to hell, along with the fact that I got severely depressed and stopped talking to everybody, including her, which was a terrible way to end that relationship, and I still hate myself for doing that. And yes, if you watch my video blogs, you've seen me discuss this before, because I really, really do not like myself for how that all ended. And I don't want my current relationship to end up like that, which is why I do not plan on this relationship lasting past graduation, which I should probably let her know sooner rather than later, like probably the week we get back to school, because I don't think I've made myself completely clear on that point, but she deserves it, and I would just be fucking things up all over again if I didn't say something, so I'm gonna say something. but don't ever take my relationship advice. Unless you're a freshman who has nobody better to ask, in which case you're stuck with my advice, and I'm sorry if I fuck everything up for you, but you were stupid enough to ask me in the first place. And I'm just a terrible person, and I get very fierce crushes on people who have no interest in me. And I'm not very good at pining away quietly, and usually I do something really stupid, like write a love letter and slip it to the person, sometimes anonymously, which just makes things worse. And that's not a good way to go about things, especially when you don't write your love letters anonymously and you get them returned to you with extreme prejudice, which happened to me the first time I went to college, and that really sucked. And I have a lot of experience being rejected, and I also have a lot of experience rejecting other people, so I suppose I get what's coming to me, but I try not to be an asshole when I shut people down, and the people who have shut me down have generally been very mean about it, so I don't think I'm really getting what I deserve. But eventually these things are going to line up correctly, and I'm going to like somebody, and they're going to like me back, and I will end up happy with someone for a great number of years, hopefully, because I do not want to be alone and miserable for the rest of my life, which is what I've always kind of considered for myself ever since I was 14, and I found out the person that I had huge plans on getting married and moving to Boston and getting cats and a nice house told me he was gay, and I never made plans for my future involving another person again since I was 14, which might be a little bit fatalistic and sad of me, but has kept me from getting overly disappointed by pretty much anybody since then. So that's almost half my life. But I got my palm read by somebody, like, last week, and she told me that even though I always consider myself being alone when I think about the future, that's not actually how things are going to turn out, and I know the person that I should end up with already, and I've known them for about a year, but I'm holding them at arm's length, and I should stop doing that. And I can only think of one person I'm holding at arm's length. I'm pretty sure he's not interested in me, and that doesn't stop me from having a really fierce and pathetic crush on him anyway. So I'm probably not going to act on that palm reading because, well, not really because of anything, because it's not like I don't believe in it. Like, I believe in it as much as I believe in tarot card readings, and I always put a decent amount of stock into that when I'm having them read by somebody competent. So, no, honestly, I'm listening to it, but, unless something serious changes, and by serious, I mean the dissolution of multiple relationships that are happening right now, and myself growing a spine, and possibly getting some kind of signal of interest. Unless a lot of things change that probably aren't going to change, I'm not going to act on this palm reading, but I'm going to keep it in mind, because, I don't know, it's kind of nice hearing that I'm not going to be alone for the rest of my life, because I've always just kind of figured that was how things would end up. Me living in some shitty apartment with like 16 cats on the pitiful wages I make as a social worker, um, in the years before I get burnt out with that career and end up doing God knows what. But, you know, I think I got off topic there. Or I didn't explain myself very well. Whatever, if you're unsatisfied with it, leave me a comment. I'll make a new one. I'll try and explain myself better, but, I think I explained myself well enough. I'm just a sad sack, and I have no real positive advice to give anybody about love or relationships. But, no, I gotta end this up on an up note. What goes around comes around, so be nice to other people if you want other people to be nice to you, and that won't always work because sometimes people are shitty and they will make you feel terrible and life will kind of suck. But things do get better eventually, so put up with it and continue to be nice to people, because honestly the returns you get for being nice are worth the temporary pain you get by being nice when other people are being cruel to you. And eventually things will turn out well, because that's just what they do, as far as I have seen, because my life is not a terrible place, and things generally work out the way I intend them to. Possibly because I'm lucky, possibly because there is a God and he likes me despite the fact I don't believe in him. Possibly because bad things are waiting for me in the future and they just haven't happened yet. That's not a very positive note. No, I believe good things happen because I am a good person and I work really hard to make good things happen. And eventually I will fall in love. And if you really want to fall in love, you will probably fall in love someday too. So, don't give up, and just don't be a dick, basically, is my advice. Be a decent person, and your life will work out. Unless it doesn't, in which case, I'm sorry for misleading you. Okay, and that was day 10.